Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and shitlords of every stripe. Let's talk about liberal lunacy for a few minutes, shall we? Today I want to share 3 items with you, ranging from extreme feminist bullshit to ridiculously fake news. Our first article is from South African version of the Huffington Post and was written on April 13th by self-described activist and feminist Shelley Garland. The article is titled, "Could It Be Time to Deny White Men the Franchise?" In this article, Shelley states that if white men no longer had the vote, the progressive cause would be strengthened. She goes on to claim that the influence of reckless white males were one of the primary reasons that led to the Great Recession, which began in 2008, and that denying men the vote would strike a blow against toxic white masculinity, which she believes is long needed. While strengthening the regressive cause seems to be one of Shelley's goals, along with smashing the patriarchy as stated in her bio, it is unclear to me how denying white men their right to vote would accomplish the former. If only minorities and women voted, the regressive cause would once again be shown in its true light, the light of oppressive politics and race-based bias. While the voters may not pay close attention to politics most of the time, they're not stupid, as Miss Garland seems to believe, and would see the disenfranchisement of white men as a loss of freedom, which would push a large number of them away from liberalism right into the arms of the political right. Accusing white men of being reckless and causing the Great Recession is akin to accusing your car of having a vendetta against you because you let it run out of gas. That's pants-on-head retarded, as is Ms. Garland's assertion. She may as well be screaming "Ma patriarchy" from the rooftops of her student dorm building. It would make as much sense. The recession, which began in 2008, was caused largely by the collapse of banks under the weight of all the worthless loans they were forced to make under the Community Reinvestment Act under President Jimmy Carter in 1977. Shelley's article continues, stating that a denial of the franchise to white men could see a redistribution of global assets to their quote-unquote rightful owners, because obviously white men stole all the wealth from the poor people of the world for themselves. Claiming that they worked hard, invested, and took risks to earn their wealth is just a smokescreen, you see. It gets even wackier. Ms. Garland also believes that redistributing the wealth of white men would act as reparations for slavery. Those white bastards brought all those rich folks from Africa to the United States, stole all their wealth, and then enslaved them. Is that it? Like I said, pants-on-head retarded. Now, Shelley Garland is still in school, so I can't judge her too harshly. This is what young people are inculcated with at these institutions of lower living. Ms. Garland has yet to enter the real world. She has never had to provide for a family, make a payroll, or innovate to survive. Time and circumstances will provide her real education after she graduates, assuming she doesn't take her shiny philosophy degree right into the cushy university or government career, where she'll never have to face the ugly realities of life. In our next article from newsbusters.org, the headline reads, "CNN blasts Trump for golf outings, yawned at Obama's vacations." Written on April 13, 2017 by Jackson Richmond. Richmond writes, CNN's New Day on Thursday blasted Donald Trump for spending over $21 million visiting his Mar-a-Lago estate, but excused the price tag of former President Barack Obama's golf and vacation outings. CNN anchor Allison Camerata is quoted as saying, "The president is on pace to spend more money on vacations in his very first year than former President Barack Obama did in 8 years in office. It shows that President Trump in just 84 days has already spent $21 million in travel costs. President Obama spent $97 million in 8 years. According to a post by Julie Bikowitz on PBS's The Rundown blog from April 13th, the amount of money Allison Camerata claims has been spent by President Trump in his travels is based on a widely used estimate of the cost of each trip, namely $3 million. However, the author of a report on a trip President Obama made to Palm Beach, Florida, has told the Associated Press that it's a mistake to apply those findings to Trump's travel. A conservative group that closely monitors presidential expenses puts the tab for each Mar-a-Lago visit closer to $1 million. Measuring President Trump by the same yardstick as President Obama is foolish. These are 2 different presidents with 2 different ways of doing things. It also doesn't take into account the economic growth which is already becoming apparent under President Trump, which would more than balance out the difference even if the $3 million figure were correct. Economic growth under President Obama was painfully slow and inconsistent, adding insult to injury every time he took a vacation, played golf, or sent his high-maintenance wife off to a foreign land with an army of staff and Secret Service personnel in tow, all at the taxpayer's expense. What about the time in 2015 when President and Mrs. Obama flew on separate planes to Los Angeles on the same day? That's a waste of taxpayers' money, Ms. Camerata. Finally, from the fake news category, USA Today tweeted on April 13th following the bombing of an ISIS tunnel complex in Afghanistan with this image, depicting the difference between the nuclear bomb deployed in Hiroshima, Japan during World War II and the GBU-43B massive ordnance air blast munition, also known as the mother of all bombs, used in Afghanistan. While the comparison in size is accurate, the difference in payload in the case of the Hiroshima bomb is understated by a factor of 1,000. USA Today's graphic claims that the yield of the Hiroshima bomb was 17 tons of TNT, when the correct yield was 17 kilotons, or 17,000 tons of TNT. USA Today was trying to compare the destructive power of a nuclear weapon against a conventional bomb with a payload of 14 tons of TNT in an attempt to make it seem as though the Moab was nearly as destructive as a nuke, thereby dismissing the fact that it is, in fact, a conventional explosive device. This is fear-mongering at its ugliest, folks. USA Today wants you and I to believe that President Trump authorized the use of a nearly nuclear weapon in a foreign country, quite possibly precipitating World War III. To me, it smells an awful lot like the rhetoric of the 1950s, where children in school participated in atomic bomb drills, diving under their desks for protection from nuclear fallout. The tweet disappeared down USA Today's memory hole, but not before several Twitter users were able to capture it. The internet is forever USA Today. You should remember that. Thanks for watching, ladies and gentlemen, and those who sexually identify as A10 Thunderbolts like me. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share, and I'll see you in the next one.